And we are moving into the second part of our presentation. You've heard this morning a quick overview of the topic that was more technical, if I could call it this way. In the second part now, you will hear more about the rules, financial, administrative, legal, everything you need to know to apply a successful proposal to our call. Again, please do not hesitate to send your questions to Slido or in the room, of course. Please avoid to use the chat of the video conference for chatting between yourselves. So with that, I would like to start and give the floor to Leonard Bayo. He's another project officer. He's dealing also with transport application, but for the sake of today exercise, he is the co-coordinator, so he will guide you through all the rules. Leonard?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the co-coordinator of the SEH for the past 4 years and for this code too. And it's a task from which I derive a lot of pressure. But at the same time, I'm always confronted with situations that are really upsetting. For example, applicants who would like to submit their proposal after the deadline. I'm sorry, it's not possible. Or applicants that upload documents with just the odd number of pages. So you have page 2, 4, 6, but nothing in between. Very unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do there. Or proposal in which the budget figures are not matching. I do not wish any of these situations will happen to you. So pay attention. I will learn from basic rules of the Code 2020. Then I'll show quickly the submission system and how you will be able to submit a proposal to this code. Okay, so the Code 2020 of the SEH is governed by 2 sets of rules. The one on the left-hand side are the Horizon 2020 rules that include subjects like countries eligible for funding or technology readiness level, and I will go through the different annexes. And the second set of rules on the right-hand side are the ones from the annual work plan of the SEH, the one applicable for this Code 2020. So I'll start now with the general annexes. In Annex A, it's about the list of countries eligible for funding. Horizon 2020 is open to the world, so that means any entity established anywhere on this planet can participate. But if you would like to receive money, the funding from the SEH, then there are some requirements. The entity must be established either in a member state or an associated country, and Switzerland, Norway, Israel, Turkey are some of the associated countries to Horizon 2020. Second possibility, the entity established in one of the least developed countries of the world, and there is a long list of them. It starts from Afghanistan and finishes in Zimbabwe. Or, last possibility, one entity established, let's say, in Japan, Canada, or in the US, we will need to demonstrate that having these partners is absolutely essential for carrying on the action. And the essential character is analyzed both by the experts doing the evaluation, and then it is approved or not by the governing board of the SEH. So you need to build your case while you involve them. Regarding Brexit, it's, as been said several times this morning, it looks like nothing will happen. In the sense, any UK entities can participate and can even receive funding. They are eligible, regardless of the duration of your project. One point on international cooperation. So the code is open to the world, but we strongly encourage mission innovation members from the mission innovation to participate in 11 topics. The topics are indicated in the slide, and the country members of mission innovation, the challenge on hydrogen, are indicated with a flag behind. So you have Chile, China, US, Canada, Australia, and so on and so forth. To include a partner coming from, let's say, outside the EU, non-developed countries, non-associated countries, you have two ways. Either these participants could get funding, your decision, or could not. In the sense, the partner is asking funding, build the case. In the sense, explain very carefully and precisely what is critical that they would bring in your proposal. Perhaps they have an IP, they own a patent. Perhaps it's due to the knowledge of some individuals that have the expertise. Perhaps they have access to research facilities, equipment that are nowhere else available on the globe. Use your case. And another recommendation is include in your mitigation list, the risk of the project and how you will mitigate them, how you will deal if the evaluator or the governing board of the SCH decide not to fund this international partner. Perhaps we will reshuffle the activities to another beneficiary, perhaps the country where this entity is established will support it, perhaps it will be made through private investment, I don't know, explain it. International partners can as well join the project without funding. And there we have two cases. One is participation in the consortium without requesting a budget. And very simple, the partner will sign the grant agreement, just receive more money, or they could become international partners and one of the beneficiaries. In that instance, they do not sign the grant agreement. Further example and more detail on it will be given in not the next presentation, but the one after. Annex B and C. A proposal is considered admissible when it is submitted in the IT platform, dedicated for it, before the school deadline, so before 5 o'clock on 21st of April. In fact, the button to submit will disappear, so it is activated. My advice is do not wait the last moment, because due to traffic and many applicants trying to submit a proposal, make it half a day before, so that you have whole tranquility and you can show your proposal is in the system. Proposal must be readable, accessible, and printable. In a sense, you have to follow the template of the proposal, which is available on the IT portal, and respect the page limits. For any pages in excess, it will be made absolutely invisible, so the expert will have no access to it. So pay attention to the page limits. Proposal must be complete, all administrative data, budget indication, operational capacity of the partners, and it must include a draft plan for determination and exploitation of the reserves. It's a separate document of 5 pages that you must upload. Anyway, the IT2 is very robust and friendly in the sense you will get warning if your proposal exceeds the number of pages or if you do not upload the necessary 3 documents in the system. Yes, the 5 pages is the draft plan for the exploitation of the reserve and dissemination. It's sorry? Reserves. Excuse my French. A proposal is eligible when it is in line with the topic. Still, receive a proposal that has nothing to do with one topic or even any topic, so it declares not eligible. And you must confront with the requirement of Horizon 2020. But we are supporting 2 types of action, RIA, and for these you need at least 3 entities established in 3 different member states or associated countries, and these 3 entities must be different one from each other. So if you think about projects with Daimler Germany, Daimler UK, Daimler France, I'm sorry, but it is not meeting the eligibility criteria. And for the last type of action, coordination and support action, CSA at the bottom of the table, you need just one legal entity established in another state or associated country.
Could you please not interrupt and call your questions? Yes? Thank you.
I'm happy to generate so much interest. There will be question and answer session at the end of this slot of presentation. I go now to the different types of actions. So research and innovation action is closer to research in the sense it will explore feasibility of new products, new technology. It includes basic and applied science, and it could include small-scale prototyping. In this type of action, the funding provided cover 100% of the cost. For innovation action in the middle, this consists in more prototyping, testing, validation, large-scale product validation, market, closer to the market. In there, the funding provided to profit-making entities is 70%, and for public entities, 100%. The last type of action, coordination and support action, CSA in short, it's about dissemination, awareness raising, standardization, normalization, policy, and so on. 100% of funding for any type of entity. Technology readiness level, TRL, you see in each topic you have a TRL at start, a TRL at the end. And this is the span, depending on the type of action. So here it goes from TRL 2. The lower the number is, the closer you are to blue sky research, blue sky research, and the higher the number is, you are getting closer to the market. So here our proposal stands from TRL 2 to TRL 6. We propose that we calculate for each topic you have TRL at the beginning, TRL at the end, and for innovation action it's from TRL 4 to TRL 8. Now, selection criteria. There are two of them for the evaluation. The first one is the financial capacity of the coordinating entity. In order to preserve its financial interest, Horizon 2020 is asking that the coordinator of the project do a self-assessment on their financial viability. It's extremely important that you do this, because later on, if your proposal successfully passes the evaluation and we start a grant agreement with you, it will figure out that the coordinating private entity has not the financial means. Two cases, either we ask you to change the coordinator, or even in the worst case, when there is insufficient funds to manage new money, we ask to remove entirely this partner from your proposal. Operational capacity is a check to verify that in your consortium, all the partners have the basic means to undertake their activity in the project. And this is done through your explanation about the feelings of the person who will be involved in the project, a list of equipment, research infrastructure that will be put made available for your project, a list of at least 5 project activities in line with the topic to which you will submit a proposal, and any third-party contribution, for example, subcontractors. And you will hear about third-party contribution later on. It's very important that you keep in mind who you are dealing with. If you have in your proposal an entity that do not meet its basic operational capacity at start of the project or at start of the activity within the project, then the evaluators will take the partner out, will take the budget from that partner out, will take the activities out of this partner, and then they will give a score. So you start with a lot of disadvantages. Be careful who you are dealing with. Let's go to the score now. There are 3 criteria according to which your proposal will be evaluated. One is excellence, second is impact, and the third, quality and efficiency of the implementation. In the full Annex H, and I recommend you to download it and to read it, each of these criteria is divided in 2 sub-questions. And the experts, basically what they have to do is to reply to these questions. So when you write your proposal, make sure you respond already to this question. It will just easier for the evaluators. Now on each of these 3 criteria, there is a score attached to it. Scores go from 0 to 5. 0 is nil, 3 is good, 5 is excellent. And you need to have at least 3 points to be good in all these criteria, otherwise you are rejected. Let's say you do not pass the quality threshold. And we have an overall threshold of 10 points. You need to make at least a 3, and a 4 to be successful. To give you some rough indication, 60% of the proposal we received pass the minimum of 10 points and the individual threshold, so 60% of the pass. And regarding the funding, we support 40% of the proposals that have been submitted. So 40% is quite high, quite good in comparison with other Horizon 2020 goals. Last annex, open access to research data, because you will eventually get public money, taxpayer money. You must make sure that shares of the data generated by the project will be accessible to third parties to replicate, exploit, and reproduce your experiments, and any other data that you feel could be made available to the public. This is done through the data management plan. You can opt out to this requirement. It has no influence on the scores given by the evaluator. But if you decide to opt out, you need to provide a really good justification for it. The motto is to be as open as possible and as close as necessary. Now going to the second set of rules of the Code 2020, the double on the right, the annual work plan is listing for 11 innovation actions another eligibility criteria regarding the funding that you could request, and it's a maximum amount. For example, for maritime, it's 8 million euros. If you request a Eurocent more, the proposal is considered ineligible. Second part of the presentation will be an overview of the different steps between the school publication up until the school closure, that's the top green squares, and then quickly I will go to the bottom blue squares from the school closure up until the signature of the grant agreement. Finding our code. Very easy. Open your web browser, type funding and tender portal. When you are there, type FTH, click on the code open, and you will see the list of the 24 topics. Each of the topics, then, when you open the page, is structured in this manner. You have topic description, topic condition and documents, images of the annexes are just summarized for you. You have buttons to look for partners, I'll come back to it. Then you have the IT platform to start downloading the template and submit your proposal, and at the bottom some IT tools, guidance, how to. Topic description is divided already in 3 chapters. The first one is specific challenge, it's the context, perhaps a state of the art, what is the issue at stake we like to address with the topic. Then we go into the scope. The scope includes some operational requirements, technology readiness levels, perhaps indication of the project duration, on the consortium composition. Always make sure that your proposal is in line with the scope section of the topic. Otherwise, it may be considered ineligible if you are out of the scope of the topic. And last item is expected impact. There you will see some technical targets, cost reduction, contributions, quality, and so on. To find partners, so there are several ways. One of them is today's meeting, because you will have a chance to do some network. But as well, you could find interested parties through the portal. You click, and you will see their expertise, their experience, how frequently have been participating in SP7 or Horizon 2020 projects, as partner, as coordinator, and so on. And you can even contact them. Likewise, you could signify or indicate your interest by registering through this button, Python search. At some point, before you submit your proposal anyway, you will have to register the organization. It's a very light step. You don't ask for any other document, but you need to have one 9-digit code, which is called the participant identification code. Otherwise, you cannot be picked up by the IT system. Do that in advance, do not wait for the last minute. as you mentioned, you have your consortium, you have defined the ideas, you have written that into the template you would like to submit. This is how the ITP looks like. You have a metro line on the top, and the final destination is submit, obviously. You have some basic information to which topics you respond on the left-hand side, and the section to download the template. Now we move to the blue part. So let's imagine the code is closed and we are the 22nd of April. What is happening? Well, for the code closure to the signature of the grant agreement, there are 8 months. The regulator asks this process to be sufficiently fast, and it has an impact on the way we write the proposal. It means there will be no change to your proposal, no change of budget, work packages, partners, or whatever. The proposal must be as close to final grant agreement. And in fact, we ask the evaluator, and there's also implicit in our proposal, to reflect that into a lower score. So shoot for quality. The code is competitive, and we need to have perfect proposals. Quickly on the evaluation, how it works. So last year, for example, we had 43 experts coming from all over the globe. They start their work remotely by writing an individual evaluation report. Then we invite all the experts in Brussels, and those assigned to one proposal, for example, they will meet their consensus room. They will agree on the score, agree on the final comments. Then the last 2 days in Brussels are for a panel where we check consistency of scores and comments across the different proposals. And then, end of June, we submit the results to the governing board. The governing board has something like 21 days to approve or reject the ranking of the different proposals. I still have 2 slides. One on experts and the other one is feedback to the applicants. Every year we look for a new expert. So I encourage you, if at some point you decide finally not to submit a proposal, to indicate your interest to the FCH. We need experts obviously in the field, fuel cells and hydrogen, but not only. We have large projects, so if you have expertise in project management or economics for a large project, that could be an interesting profile for us too. Obviously, you cannot be in conflict of interest with any of the applicants in the code, and we seek balance between private and public sector, gender balance, geographical balance, and we ensure that we rotate experts from year to year. If you submit a proposal, when you will hear from us? Today, after the closure, I will be publishing an overview of the number of proposals we have received per topic. So this will give you an indication how competitive the code is. Then, at the end of the evaluation, after the approval by the governing board, I will notify all the applicants whether they are in the main list, so they were successful and we have sufficient funding to finance the project. If they are in the reserve list, successful but we don't have the budget, so let's say one in the main list failed, perhaps. And the last list is in rejected proposal. The quality threshold is not there. At the same time, I will be aggregating data on the number of proposals per topic and on which list they are, if they were successful or not successful. And that's it for my part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yana. I hope everything was clear. Although we allow for questions, and please keep your questions for the Q&A session. Okay. Otherwise, we will not manage to go through all presentations. We will not manage today. Keeping in mind all the rules presented by you now, we also ourselves is the SEGU, how can I say, habit, that every year we try also to give some learned advices from our side. Keep also in mind that we do not evaluate the proposals. We have independent experts, evaluating the proposal. So right now we are telling you the content of the topic, we are telling you the rules, please read them carefully. Don't use only the presentation, this is a summary. It's an exercise you do today, but you have to read all of the documents, unfortunately. And from our, again, experience, Ulysses, who's the backup also of Leonela, the co-coordinator, will give you some bumps and bumps, or how he called himself, the presentation, whatever readers want. I'm not sure that everything they want, but something. Ulysses.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Everybody has looked from my side as well. So, as you all mentioned earlier this morning, we have been doing this for about 13 years. We have had calls for proposals, and we have evaluated in a year about 65 proposals. We have funded about 46% of them, which really is, but 40% didn't make it. So, we have a good sample of what to do and what negative feedback we receive from the evaluators, and I try to summarize it and simplify it for you with some short tips. So the first of all, what is expected in the review today is to explain the topic. And I have to stress, as we discussed earlier about different questions, to make sure that you read the topic very carefully. You must make sure that you understand every word in the topic. There's different severity associated with different words. As you can see, sometimes we use the item should, sometimes we use must. Should is something that is favored, must is very strict. It's not related, what we consider as a weakness by the evaluators, and they will lead the proposal to failure. And last but not least, we must make sure that you vet all different aspects of the topic. Now, when you're reading the topic, it will be natural that you have a certain bias based on your competencies, of your competence, and you'll try to shift the topic to fit the competencies of your company. Try not to do that. Try to remove your bias and try to think the topic objectively. Try to address it, and try to have a third party help you with this process if you feel like you cannot remove this bias. And I've also listed some questions to keep in the back of your mind as you're drafting your proposal. Always keep asking your surface questions to fully address the topic description. Will you benefit from this proposal? Does your proposal lead creative innovation? And does your proposal help to bring European players together? The other one you mentioned that we have the evaluation period which is available to you, and we'll put a link there. So do make sure that you do this exercise once. Once you've finalized the proposal, try to assess it yourself. Or to have a third party do it for you. And it might lead to some more feedback loops. The second tip is to absolutely leave no doubt on where you stand on the state of the art and on the TRL, the starting point of the proposal. The experts will not make any assumptions, will not consider your company if they're big or small and say, okay, they're a big company, therefore they must be right. They must justify in your proposal, you must strictly not the state of the art and say where you fit into this landscape. Here, most of the times we have comments from the evaluators saying that the state of the art is not carefully taken into account, and most of the time the objectives are not clear. So make sure that you have smart objectives, get specific KPIs, and make sure that you have identified a realistic pathway that will lead you towards what you claim would be the ending point of your proposal. The third tip is the impact of the sanction. This is stressed more and more by the European Commission. We need to focus on the communication, dissemination, and exploitation aspects of the proposals. To emphasize this, we have been, for a long time now, having this dedicated section that we have some questions about. This is a private section that you can read, you can draft your exploitation plan, implementation, and your dissemination plan. Okay, and please, I would urge you to take this very seriously. Don't treat it as another check that has to be done in your proposal. This is very, very important by the evaluators. We often have very negative comments, saying that the dissemination plan is very vague, the communication plan is not there, there is no target audience identified, and there is no education plan for students. There is no engagement from the industrial partners to take their solution forward and take to the market. So when you think about the impact, try to think about all the different levels. It can be at the individual level, it can be employees, it can be researchers that are educated, trained. It can be the company level, you're generating patents, you're nurturing growth for your company. And of course, it can be collaboration that is seen between the company. It can have the whole sector taken into account. And you can take it one level above, of course, and consider the impact of your environment as such. Do try to quantify when you make sure that you have some indicators, and make sure that, most of the cases will have technical people evaluating this to make sure that you have numbers. The fourth one, the fourth step is essentially having a sound plan and a sound budget. In most of the cases, you will see that we're proposing a duration for the topics, and not surprised, most of the applicants come up with exactly the same duration as we propose. This is not fixed in stone. You can modify the duration according to your needs and to what you perceive as necessary to undertake this task. So do make sure that you look at your plan carefully and time it according to the task. Again, we also propose a budget. Not surprised there, you see the budget being very close to what we propose. Try to have a bottom-up approach and try to look at the task at hand and try to detail the budget according to the task that you're proposing to undertake. Make sure that you justify large cost items. This is one of the major things that evaluators spot. If there's no justification for a large amount, especially if it's subcontracted, then that will be very negatively impacting the proposal. Moving on to the risk. Here, there are a lot of types of risk, and most of the applicants tend to focus on the technical risk, but what is more and more seen by evaluators is that they're also focusing on the other types of risks, regulatory risks, financial risks, with people setting up the proposal, people that are companies that are claiming that they have secured other sources of funding, will support them in this project, but then end up not taking them. So these are all risks that have to be taken into account. Permitting risks, very important. We see this in all the demonstration projects that are raised, because of the permitting issues, so please do take these risks into account and have a mitigation plan in place. And last but not least, it's about your consortium and how it's built. In many cases, we have some specific partners which are selected to fulfill the criteria of having a 3 member states represented in the consortium. Trying to do that, it's very evident. The value is both audit and very nice. It impacts your proposal very negatively. Last but not least, try to have the European dimension in your proposal. Try to have as many member states as possible. And the last step is to make it as simple as possible. Basically, the evaluators are flooded with proposals during the evaluation stage. They have a limited amount of time to look at the proposal, and the sooner you make it, the more you bank that it is. So I know it's easy to say, and it's very hard to do. We all know the same. Apologies for the long letter that I didn't have the time to make it shorter. But please do take the time to make it as complex as possible. Avoid small fonts to try to fit in as much information as possible. Actually, studies show that the harder it is for a message to lead to, the more likely you are to spot something wrong with it. It's counterintuitive, but it's true. And do make it easy to follow. Do it in graphs, tables, make it as easy to follow as possible. And of course, respect the page limit. Last but not least, I'd like to mention that The evaluators are coming from all around the world. They're not necessarily native English speakers. So do make sure that your language is also able to understand. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I tried to give you 5 steps, 5 simple steps that can make an improving proposal. As I mentioned, understand the topic set. Make sure that you start as early as possible. And that will help you clarify any questions along the way. Be clear on the innovation of your proposal. Focus on the impact. Small budget. And try to make it as simple as possible. Thank you for your attention. And now I will floor to my colleague Chairman who will get into the legal and financial aspects of your proposal preparation.
Hello everybody. I will try to give you not exactly an overview, but to underline a few of the legal and financial aspects that we think you should consider at the stage of the proposal. To have all the information for that my colleague said before, it's absolutely necessary that you go through the documentation of the code. In short, I will present to you the legal and financial framework that applies to this call. In drafting your proposals, what to be specifically careful when you're drafting regarding third parties, ethics, and additional activities. And a little on the financial viability check that was also mentioned by Lionel. Very important for you to know is this pyramid. It is, the first one at the top is the law that governs this code. It's the 2 regulations, the regulation of establishment for Horizon 2020 and the rules for participation. If you have questions such as how many countries should participate, how many legal entities from which countries should participate, research and innovation actions how many, CSA actions how many, and so on and so forth. Everything is in the rules for participation. So I see many questions which rely on the conditions for the code. They are specifically in these 2 regulations. We do not deviate from them. The SCAGU applies in this code with all the rules of Horizon 2020. In addition to that, you have the SCAGU annual work plan, where you have, of course, the topic description that my colleagues gave you a little overview and which you are highly encouraged to read thoroughly. And in addition to that, there are some additional chapters that you should also look at, such as, for example, the core management tool, where you will see if there are any additional eligibility conditions, and there are, because there are some topics where the maximum grant amount is capped, and any proposals going beyond that maximum grant amount are not eligible. So I strongly encourage to look at that as well. Then you have the general annexes in the main work program of Horizon 2020. These general annexes were presented one by Lionel before, so I will not insist on them. And then, because the mother grant agreement is not a contract that is negotiable. So it's already made available to you, so you can read it in detail. And you know that if your proposal is successful, what type of contract you will be signing. You will also have the annotated grant agreement, which explains to you article by article what the mother grant agreement says if you have any clarifications that need to be set. And a consortium agreement that you will be required to conclude amongst yourselves as a condition in this code the moment your proposal is successful and responsible to the grant. To explain to you, all these documents are easily accessible and are searchable, for example, through but not limited to Google. The proposal. You have 2 parts. One is the administrative part, which represents, for example, all the administrative data that you will have, partition identification code, contracts, and so on and so forth. And the technical annex, which is divided into documents. One is the technical annex with 5 sections that you will need to fill in. And a third document called the Plan for Dissemination and Exploitation. These documents are downloadable. In the code, you will see that there's a download part B template. So when you push that button, which I did just to show you, you will have 3 documents that will be downloaded automatically. The first 2 in fact, are sections 1 to 5 of the part B, divided into 2 separate documents. And then the third one is the draft plan for dissemination and exploitation. These documents already include the sections, subsections, and instructions on how to fill in each one of them if it is the first time that you are applying to Horizon 2020. Now, moving on to specific issues that you should be looking at, and I will come back for it. I will refer specifically to this section. 3.4 resources to be committed, and 4.2 third parties involved in the project. The rule is that beneficiaries should have the appropriate resources to implement the action. That is the standard go-to in Horizon 2020. That means that whoever is going to undertake the task in the project should be a beneficiary in the consortium. However, if this is not possible, and in certain exceptional circumstances, we may rely on 4 exceptions, and then we have a fifth type of participation that was introduced 2 years ago, and which we recommend for this part, especially with regards to national innovation, but it's not the only possibility. For example, you may purchase goods, works, and services, and in this case, you need to explain it. In your proposal, you may rely on subcontractors, you may rely on your affiliates, and you may rely on in-kind contributors to undertake tasks in the project. You can also call upon international partners to carry out work, and I will go one by one through each of them to give you a brief overview. The first one is the purchase of goods, works, and services. Where should we explain this? You should explain it in the section 3.4 You have heard probably Lionel, and you need to before explaining to you about large costs, equipment, assets that are it's recommendable to have them explained in your proposal so that experts can assess your proposal accordingly. In this section, you should explain your travel costs. You should include the depreciation cost of equipment, infrastructure, and other assets. Depreciation, because this is the default rule that applies to Horizon 2020, and from which the STAG does not deviate. You should also include the cost of other goods and services. For example, if you have costs related to IPR, if you have costs related to consumables, supplies, dissemination, open access, because open access to publication is mandatory, and open access to research data is the default option from which you can, of course, opt out provided you have sufficient justification. For all of these, best plan for money is an eligibility condition. So when you select such a contractor for the purchase of any of the goods, work, and services, you should select it based on the best for money. You do not necessarily have to select the cheapest price, but at least have some criteria through which forest and price were analyzed and you selected the best option suitable for you. This is, of course, in accordance with your purchase practices, your accounting practices, and so on. This is an extract from the downloaded document that I showed you before. It's the exact page 11. It looks like a small table, but the moment you start to fill it in, it's not so small anymore. The second type are subcontracts. Now, subcontracts go in another section, section 4.2 of the Part B from the document that you will be downloading. Two concepts are describing in Horizon 2020 those legal entities with which you have a commercial agreement and from which you choose to engage for, let's say, carrying out a part of the ocean. So a part of the task you cannot handle yourself, and you plan to use an external company. That is possible as long as it is a limited part, because if it's a big part, it should be a beneficiary. Also, the contractors are based on price, on market conditions, and we encourage in Horizon 2020 that the cost of the project and charge the cost, not the price. And you should also remember that verified economy is also a condition. So contracting between beneficiaries and contracting proceedings are not allowed either one. The third category that I was mentioning are linked third parties. Linked third parties are those affiliated entities and third parties with a legal link that may carry out implementation of certain action plans. They have to abide by the same eligibility criteria as the beneficiary. You should identify already the task at the level of the proposal, and we encourage them to also put an estimation of the total cost. A breakdown of the cost should your proposal be successful will be provided later on during the agreement preparation. Right now, an estimation of the total will be sufficient. You may also have the possibility to rely on in-kind contributors. That means you have university giving another university, for example, 600 personnel, contributed equipment, contributed infrastructure, or other goods and services. Meaning ownership does not pass from one to the other, but they are, I can say, so-called borrowed for the time of the grant. These also need to be included in this section 4.2. And now, the last category, international partners. This is a new category since 3 years ago. It is a possibility for those legal entities coming from countries which are not associated to Horizon 2020, who are not eligible for funding, but who want to perform tasks together within the same action. What does it mean? It means that they will have access in the system and they will see the project out together with the entire consortium. They will not receive EU funding. They will not have to do any financial reporting, but they will be involved in the technical reporting. They will need a light validation, the so-called self-registration, so it's only needed that you go on the contingent button and register yourself. We would like them to be explained not only in section 4.2, but also in section 3. In the workman, what the activities for those international partners are proposed to be carried out, and to include them also in the table 3.2, risk for implementation. In the case where you propose that an international partner will participate based on funding to be received later on from some country, in case they do not receive that funding, to explain to us in the risk mitigation table what will happen to the project. It's important for you to know, because we learned from our own experience, that international partners cannot be work package leaders and they cannot have deliverables assigned in the system. It's not how the system was designed. So they cannot be included as such. However, if you would like them to have work packages assigned, if you would like them to have deliverables assigned, you can put them as a beneficiary not receiving new funding, so not a beneficiary just taking the box not receiving new funding. All of them are in this table. It's also an extract of the same draft proposal that you need to fill in. Are in this table 4.2, third parties involved in the project, and each one has its own role. Now, please for all beneficiaries, for new parties, and even for those beneficiaries not receiving your funding. It's very important that they are validated. Right now, we need to do the self-registration for the purposes of the proposal, but remember that validation needs to take place before the grant is signed, and we need to anticipate this process because we have the 8 months, we need to stay within the 8 months, and we cannot afford that validation becomes an issue later on. The grant agreement operation after proposal is successful. Also another section in the proposal here is section 5, where you have to fill in ethics. If you go on the guidelines to which you have a hyperlink there, you will see what are the ethics issues that need to be considered. For example, import, export, and specific licenses with the country for certain types of products. Or data protection, because the GDPR sets certain restrictions when you're processing personal data. If your project involves such ethics issues, go to the ethics assessment, because it's one of the very important parts and it cannot be disregarded. And one additional point related to drafting the proposal, in the sub-document that you download, namely the document for determination expectation, we would like you to include, if you have, any additional activities that you are doing in the field of chemical hydrogen on top of those which is there in this project. We are interested to know what is the leverage. We are interested to know what is being carried out and is not directly supported by this program. We would like to see what is the leverage effect. We will not audit these numbers. They are just for us to know where our program stands and where the field is going. So it will be very important for us that you include this in the additional activities. If we further, of course, to beneficiaries which are non-members of either Hydrogen Europe or Hydrogen Europe Research. And a very important aspect that was also mentioned by Internet is that you need to do the financial viability check if you are coordinator, and if your project requests for more than $500,000 in funding. It's absolutely necessary because it can lead to difficult situations later on during the grant agreement preparation where a coordinator may be excluded, where you will be asked in a very short time frame to find a solution for replacing one of the very pillars of your consortium, which is the coordinator, and it's best to avoid this. So be proactive with the subject. And that's it from my side. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Diana. I hope it was clear again. Each presentation will not replace any of the documents. We just try to distinguish, because just the annotated grant agreement has 600 pages. So we try to give a bit of a hint where they said, please refer to these succinct presentations. What we're saying here today does not replace any of the documents. Because I have noticed on myself in the morning, and my colleague Nicholas already mentioned that it's right time now with my other hat to present or to insist a bit, to give a bit of flavor on communication, discrimination, exploitation of results. So I am the head of unit in charge of the whole team on operations, which is the call and everything that was said this morning, but also on the communication and with my whole team of communication, knowledge management, and even financial engineering. So I'm heading the unit in charge of both operations and communication. So my second half now is going to talk to you about communication, determination, exploitation of results. I hope sorry. Do I have to? Yes. Sorry. It has been said by Lionel, and this is the reason why we have decided, our program has decided, from the beginning of Horizon 2020, to put emphasis on this. You might have experience in Horizon 2020, the normal course, but you don't have a draft plan for exploitation and dissemination as a separate document. From our experience already in XP7, in our previous program, we realized this part of the proposal, this part of the project is neglected. Our projects normally contain a lot of technicalities, but this final part of a proposal is what we neglected. So if we do not separate it and put emphasis on it, we were receiving half of it. So instead of a proper plan, that's what we were receiving in the past. That's why about 7 years ago, we decided to make a 5 pages separate of draft plans for dissemination and exploitation of the gas, which later on becomes part of the grant, and that is going to be assessed during all reporting, including the DI. This is very important for us. It's an issue not only for our program, it's an issue at the level of the European Commission. We have to be able to disseminate what public finance is doing, to communicate, but not only that, to also exploit. So we need to have an impact on this public funding work. Not to have it because it was always there, but to show it. We are not able to show to the citizens, to the public payers, that this type of supporting activities, research and innovation, it has an impact on their lives. So this is finally the ultimate goal. It has increased importance in the European Commission. You will see a lot of guidelines coming on the tendering, funding and tendering portal. You will see a lot of guides of what means dissemination, what means exploitation, what means communication. We're dealing with three different types of activities. And already code from the rules for participation, like Juliana, the legal officer mentioned to you, this is the legal basis for participation in getting funding from Horizon 2020, and it says very clear, I'm reading as I'm counting, each participant that has received EU funding shall use its best efforts to exploit the results or to have them exploited by another legal entity. They might have a research organization, an university that produces results that is a consortium with an industrial partner that might exploit those results in products or bringing them to the market. We also have the requirement into the grant agreement. Again, Juliana mentioned to you, you have this as an example of what you are going to sign with us in case you are successful at the end of the year. And you will have an article that is non-negotiable, that you must promote the action and its results by providing targeted information to multiple audiences, including media and the public, in a strategic and effective manner. So just keep that in mind. I'm coming into the details in a moment. Another 2 more articles. So that's a very clear request. Before engaging in a communication activity expected to have a major media impact, the beneficiaries must inform us. So we are still surprised by our project communicating, having press releases, talking to the media, to the TV, and we do not know about that. It's not normal. It has to be in the plan already. If it's not there, it has to be communicated before it's happening. Then when we talk dissemination, each beneficiary must, as soon as possible, disseminate the results by disclosing them to the public by appropriate means. Okay? So these are the rules. What are the results? It might be obvious, but just a clear definition into the European Commission strategy are any tangible or intangible output of the action, which could be data, knowledge, information, whatever their form or nature, whether or not can be protected. We need to exploit, to identify the results, and again, disseminate, communicate, or exploit them. communication. Again, please keep in mind that these are three different means of having or showing the impact of your project and of your proposal at this stage. And that, if you don't have, you will get lower scores when there will be evaluated by the experts. Communication means promoting the action itself and its results when in action in the project. And the results to a multitude of audiences, including media and public, and possibly engaging in a two-way exchange. What you have to keep in mind is not only the results, but it's also the project. So, the two. That's the only thing you have to keep in mind. Another thing I would like to keep in mind when talking communication, it has to be strategically planned. Again, if you intend to communicate, especially to the media or to the public, for sure you have a plan. You don't do it from one day to the other. Yes, you might be interviewed by local television. But in any case, even if that happens and you didn't have time to inform us, please inform us immediately, especially on communication. When we talk about dissemination, we get to what you were more used to do in a research and innovation project, which is results, but not only by scientific publications, but also in reusing or update of the results. Here you get more to the content. So communication can happen not necessarily into the content, can happen only about your project, but when you get to dissemination, you get into the content, you get into the results. And it should be, and it is, as far as we know, a good practice for the research organization to go to conferences, to have publications, to apply for patents. This is dissemination. But we need to go beyond that and go into the communication, as I just said before. The two definitions I just try to recap what I just said so far are clearly mentioned in the grant agreement. One is in one article 38 is the communication, and dissemination is 29. Again, communication is project and results, dissemination is results. Now we get to the third issue to be addressed is the exploitation, which is the utilization of results in developing, creating, and marketing a product or a process, or in creating and providing a service or in standardization activities. You need to have a plan. At this moment, when you make a proposal to do something, you need to have a plan after 3 years of what to do in case you are successful. We just don't support something with public money, and in most of the cases 100%, that we don't know what to do after 3 years. So, and we will never support, and the experts are looking at that, we will never support something that is not going to have a 3-year plan on how to be exploited. To be exploited in a project. And we have experiences with project building on project results, etc. But it might be that you have an industrial partner that has a clear exploitation path. If it's successful, we'll develop a product, we need to have a plan at this point in time. That plan will be revised every reporting period, and especially at the end of the project. Again, for your convenience, the difference between the three. So from time to time, just to understand what's communication, dissemination, exploitation. Please do not neglect any of this in the proposal because otherwise that will be reflected in the score of the impact. And now just shortly, I mentioned already, normally this should come from the proposal. It will go through the evaluation, but it will be evaluated also later in the reporting and during the project management. And you will hear from us very often, especially on this issue, during the project life cycle. There are different guidelines and what to do, what not to do. The first one is Horizon 2020 guideline, the general guideline. And there down, you have our additional guidelines. So we take this guideline and we also give a bit more insight on how to please, including branding, for example, of equipment or prototypes of pilot units. I want to stop here just to give you an example so that you understand. If we find a car program, we would like to see a sticker with at least our logo and the EU flag. And I believe it's normal. So, this should be very clear. If we fund a 20 megawatt electrolyzer, we would like to have again our logo and the EU flag on that electrolyzer. So it's very clear. That is not happening. We don't reimburse the fund. So I just wanted to mention that thing. And this goes with the acknowledgement, and this is again an article into the grant agreement. The two emblems should be there, always, and a text always indicated in any presentation material. And please, when displayed together with other logos, this should have the proper prominence. We have seen cases where the participants' logos, companies were bigger than our logo, and somewhere in the corner, our logo and the EU flag were also there. No, this should have the normal and correct prominence. Also for you to understand the two, because I know it's difficult. I know for those who do not deal with this type of issues, it might be very difficult to understand and explain them. The dissemination is what goes on with the project, and the exploitation is a pull from outside the project, okay? So just a bit to understand the two issues. Of course, within this, what I just explained, especially on dissemination and exploitation of results, get into the picture the open access for publication, and I'm not just saying that because I want to do it. And in getting in line with what I just said, we have an obligation for open access for publication. So any publication that is generated by the project should be open access. We have also done an exercise last year looking through our project. Not all the publications declared and somehow paid by us were open access. We have the right to get the money back if these publications are not open access. And we pay for that, for the open access. So please anticipate that in the proposal. For example, if you want to publish 10 publications, please anticipate the money to make them open access in your proposal. Similar for the open access to research data, which was presented before, you have to have already, by default, open access to the research data that will be generated by the project. Exceptionally, you can opt out, but we need to understand why. Because again, we talk about most of the cases, 100% public funding. That means public has to have access to that. And that's why you will have a data management plan, and for that you may require time and money. So please keep that in mind when you prepare the proposal. And I'm coming now to the point with all the introduction I've made on the theory, which is the draft plan for dissemination exploitation of project results, which you have to have. It has to have 5 pages. 5 pages is our estimation of the importance. It might be long, it might be short. We took the 5 out of the total of the 70 that the proposal should have. So that gives already an indication how important it is for us. And just go, I just extracted from the template, but I just go through the template and fill in all the chapters, and you will see that first one, A, is the dissemination exploitation, and the B is the communication activities. Just quickly on the data exchange, I'm not going to go through the barriers. You will have the presentations anyway for your convenience later on the website. These are tools not available now at the level of the proposal, but just to make you aware how important again for Horizon 2020 European Commission these aspects are, in such a way that has put together some tools to help the beneficiaries with that. And in terms of determination and exploitation tools, you will hear later, if you are successful, from us that we have an innovation about that. So once the project has started, we are, how can I say to use the proper word, we are having a radar, let's use the word, we are having a radar in which we scrutinize at midterm with experts, again, which are the innovations and the innovators in each of the projects. And we try to gather that and work with them to exploit the new ideas that they brought into the project. We also just communicated to our ongoing project to start filling in results into the Horizon Results Platform, which is a platform of the European Commission for Horizon 2020. And why to do that? Again, to identify innovations and innovators, even for, if you don't have yourself a proper plan to explore the results, there might be investors or venture capitalists that are looking to this platform, get this idea that is coming from a project and maybe further exploit it, put the money into it. So this is what we try to get out of our project and to put into the public domain of the investors. In helping to do that and exploiting yourself the results, also the Commission later during the execution of the project can offer support by paying consultants, contractors to help you to boost your determination exploitation of results. And of course there are many resources available for that. Please feel free to read them, but just please be aware again that you have to give sufficient attention to communication, determination, and exploitation of results activities in your proposal, because these are the main parts of the impact of your future work. With that, I think I've finished. Yeah. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please again hold them for the Q&A slot. And I would like now to go to the external community to the day, not really external because they are part of our organization. And we will invite now Tim to have an introduction to the Hydrogen Europe and Hydrogen Europe Research, so the two members in addition to the Commission. And I will invite Martha Direk and Catherine Johnson-Ricketts to present to the two members.
Thank you very much, Lana. Good afternoon, everyone. It's interesting to see your home so full. That's quite interesting. So my name is Martha Direk from Hydrogen Europe. I will present your association together with Catherine, who will present research. Okay, thank you. Very briefly, we will remind what is our role within the SCHGU and how do we shape the role, and then a very brief presentation of both associations. I think it's been explained this morning already. So we are a joint adaptation with GU, which is made of the European Commission, the public part, with the private part, Hydrogen Europe, together with Hydrogen Europe Research. That is the Hydrogen Joint Adaptation. Altogether, there are almost 230 industry and research organizations, including national associations. And I think this figure is actually not accurate. We are more close to 250 organizations, and that went quite fast. very practically, how does it work to shape a call, from a call to project? So today in 2020, we are on the circle of the year end, where the call was published. This call actually has been shaped with the members of hydrogen research, together with the European Commission and the Program Office, following strategic priorities that were defined by the Governing Board. And as we go along the year, we ask for drafts, we select the priorities according to the strategic priorities that were defined, and we refine all the way to October, November, where the call is almost done and goes for approval to the Governing Board before being published in January 2020, which is the second in the middle. Then you will work on your proposals. They will be evaluated. For the successful one, we start administrative preparation, which was explained this morning. This takes roughly a year, and then in year N+1, so 2021, project usually start. What's important to understand is by being a member of hydrogen research, you become very active in the definition of the code. That's the main message of this. I won't go any further in those details, and I will give the floor to Catherine to present hydrogen research.
Thank you, Michael. So, good afternoon. My name is Catherine Griffith, and I work for the Hydrogen Europe Research Secretariat. And I'm just going to give a brief overview of our organisation. So, we are an international non-profit organisation, a sister association to Hydrogen Europe industry. We represent universities, research centres, and research and technology organisations, or RTOs, within European hydrogen and fuel sectors. So, the Hydrogen Europe Research is today made up of nearly 80 members across 21 European countries and 3 nations outside of Europe. Although our members are mostly within Europe, last year we introduced a new member category, associate member, in order to promote international collaboration outside of Europe, which is open to research organizations outside of Europe and Horizon 2020 program. So this is our structure. I'm just going to give you an overview here because we will actually change the structure very fairly soon. But as you can see at the top, we are a member-led organization with the General Assembly as the highest deciding organ. And we have a board, and in the room we have Marta Marullo from Finland in Spain, sitting over here, represented, and she is the chair of External Affairs. And the board is also supported in its work by a coordination group, and we with 5 vice chairs. We have Luigi Crema from FCK over back there, who is the vice chair for energy to hydrogen. We also have another vice chair for external affairs, Fernando Cajasino, from Aragon Hydrogen Foundation in Spain. I can't see Fernando, but he should be there, and it's quite also not that difficult to miss. Apart from these groups, we also have help with advocacy from Michael Post, who's standing over in the corner here. Yeah, so it's a very exciting time for hydrogen and fuel cells, and there are lots of changes, and it's relevant and important, and it's very important that you take part in this. You have a huge part to play in this. We provide a unique platform as an organization within the public-private partnership, and it gives multiple opportunities for our members to get involved and provide their input into the structure and set strategic priorities. So, we also seek to facilitate networking and act as a networking forum for research organizations and industry partners. And we are doing this in close collaboration with Hydrogen Europe Industry here. So, in terms of membership, you are of course welcome. We're delighted to apply for membership within Hydrogen Europe Research. So, if you would like to learn more, please contact either me, Martha, Fernando, Luigi, or Michael for any other information that you would need. So I will now give the floor back to Michael Vidovich.
Thank you, Catherine. So I'm starting with quite a coded slide representing all our membership. To be fair, research organizations are also contributing to this slide. The more it goes, the more we're recruiting members, which is a really good sign. We classified a little bit to give a bit more visibility from membership with fuel cell techno providers and of pure players in hydrogen production and distribution, but also fuel cell either for transport or stationary application. All other organizations which are sometimes a little bit difficult to classify because the sector is growing and attracting various interests from various areas. And then all of energy companies, industrial companies, transport companies, national associations, bottom left, and then on the right-hand side, Hydrogen Europe Research. So all these will be available on the website of the HCHGU. You have time to see the logos if you want. We would welcome your logo to be part of this one. That's the structure, so we have a supportive structure. We have a general assembly on the board. Then our management is looking at the team, the small team that we have. I will start with the bottom right. So we're developing more and more intelligent services in regulatory and policy and market aspects. In communications, we're getting also very active by organizing quite large events and communicating a lot with on hydrogen, of course. Then on the left-hand side, we have a few trade associations. So of course we've got working groups, mobility working group, just working group, rescue implementation working group, very successful narrating working group, and also with a lot of funding and financing working group to give a bit more understanding to the membership of potential opportunities for funding. We have the HCHGU for a certain range of TRL. There are other funds that are available at European level, and we try to provide an understanding of the possibilities for members. And then in the middle, we get the innovations of the HCHGU. I guess it's been discussed quite a lot this morning. I just want to remind that we have technical committees within each pillar. First one being fuel cells for vehicles, together with TC2 transport infrastructure, so that's the technical pillar. Then energy naturally, energy to hydrogen, and then fuel cells for power. And this, we've got the cross-cutting activities covering safety, public awareness, etc. I think it's been already explained, and we've got overarching projects. That's the structure we've got today. And this is part of Horizon 2020. Now we will have a quick look on the potential future of our partnership. We are working very hard on securing the continuation of the partnership that we have currently. And so on the left-hand side, you can see the structure, the current structure, and we would like to move to the structure on the left-hand side of the slide with three pillars: hydrogen production, distribution, and end users, with several objectives attached to those pillars. We defined again cross-cutting activities and overarching technical committee, and we have the supply chain, so how to help industrialization of the sector. This is all a work in progress. We don't have anything confirmed just now, but doesn't prevent us from preparing the future. So it's actually a very good time if you're not a member of the hydrogen that's interested in developing the economic agenda to think with us and join us, because this is the future and we can define right now. So you can think quite a small team, right? So a team of 10. We are growing quite a lot, reflecting the evolution of the sector. In the first quarter of 2020, we should have 3 recruits, and we're working between a bit too small, so we are moving up actually today, but the rest is the same on the same floor. We stay in this business. Benefits are very much the same as hydrogen research, so you got the exclusive right of shaping code of the CHOU. In policy, you become active in shaping the influences on the new legislation. You get access to knowledge services, so you receive regular updates from us. And then, of course, with all your events, you get a good opportunity to raise the profile of your company and develop your own approach. The duties, of course, are duties. We get a membership fee ranging from something like €3,000 a year for a micro company, if I'm right, up to 16,000 a year on a 2-year basis for large companies. So we think that's quite a good value for money. And you can find more information on our website, and of course we remain available here today if you want to discuss with us, either research or industry, we are around. And on this, I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
And I'm happy you can stay with us if there are any further questions. And I move on to the last, correct presentation. And we have our national contact points from both transport and energy. And I would like to give the floor to Virginia Gomez, and after that, Cristina Garrido Gonzalo. Correct? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to present ESMA 2020. My name is Virginia Gomez. I am MCP here in Brussels for Transport, Transportation and Energy. I wanted to outline a little bit the advantages of collaborating with the MCP network for 7.4, so smart wind and integrated plants. So in the very field, you don't know what an MCP is, so we are input that are structures and mandated by the Commission for regional countries. And our mission is to help you and to guide you into the participation of the framework process. So we can help pioneers and your missions validating some of the same points to bring your proposal to the excellent stage. You can have here all the details, so in general our services go from guidance and identifying goals and opportunities until the full proposal evaluation, tips and tricks and comments, and of course assistance in partnerships and legal and financial questions as well. So the ESMA 2020 is a consortium of 16 partners, as you can see here on the list, and we totally build on the activities and the knowledge of our previous network projects, which are ESMA and ESMA Labs. And ESMA 2020 is could finalize in June this year, and it is still unclear what will happen with the national contact point network in Horizon Europe. So the objectives of the project is to give advantages to the whole ecosystem in transport. So that includes raising general understanding of the European transport and research landscape. We support the entities all over member states and associated countries on their capacity building and upgrading the tools that we use to help you in submitting the proposals. One of our main objectives is to strengthen the participation of the stakeholders. We certainly encourage new participants to contact us because we know it's not an easy role to take in, so don't hesitate to contact the entity in your country to start into the participation. And of course, we create and promote networking opportunities within the whole transport ecosystem. Here, just a brief summary of the online services that you can find on the EMNA 2020 website. So it goes from funding map database, where you can find a summary of all public and private spots. We of course have partnership tools. Maybe some of you know also enterprise network. So the partnership that of the network is embedded also in the system. We also have an organization database so that you can have an overview of all the actors in the ecosystem for research and innovation. We do have a lot of documents and useful documents with repositories with roadmaps, strategies of different stakeholders, which are usually very interesting and useful to know in your proposal preparation. And we also have a framework program analysis tool where you can have all the statistics on the participation in the transport Horizon 2020. Just to give you an idea of the toolbox that we have on the website, you can find all types of supporting material for entities and also for people participating in the proposal. We have some fact sheets on Horizon 2020, and so far have been 12 newsletter cycles that you can find there on the website. We organize events as well. Here I have a small summary of events just to give you an idea of which type of activities you can find. So we organize brokerage events, like the one in this afternoon. We also did one for assisted rail last December. We do have trainings, trainings for entities, trainings for open for participants as well. And the next one is going to take place the 4th of February in Athens about proposal writing and interactive training methods. And we, of course, we also have webinars that are all free to join. And the last one was about the research program. We have different sources of information, so you can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, we have newsletters, so don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions or comments. With this, I want to thank you for your attention, and I pass the word to my colleague, Christine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you as well for your possibility to give this presentation on behalf of the Energy NCT network. My name is Cristina Garrido. I am the NCT for Spain and representing today the whole network. Working participating. Okay. So just working in this case in Spain for an agency under the Ministry of Science and Innovation. So how can the network of entities for energy help you? I think it is quite similar to the presentation we have just had for the case of the transport entities. So the Energy 2020, the name of the project, gathering all the entities for energy, and we have some main objectives like improving the knowledge and skills of the entities, to raise the conduct of support and simplify the access for the stakeholders, especially the newcomers and those coming from rising countries, and to facilitate transnational cooperation among all of us, not only those who are beneficiaries of the project, but also those entities who are not partners of the project and that are also involved in the work. So the final aim in any case is to help you and enable you to submit a competitive proposal to the court. So you can imagine the different members of the network or those organizations in NCPs in the different countries, and you have the list, and I can imagine if you recognize maybe the logo of the organization in your country. So our main services, we decided to separate it in two categories. One of the activities we do are those activities addressing ourselves, the NCPs, the members of the network, and the other activities, which are the ones that will interest you most, are the activities targeting stakeholders. Those ones include a number of things that we will cover in the following slide. So just keep in touch with us to get informed and keep informed of the news and novelties of the program. So more in particular, we do attend and support you in all kinds of questions arising from your participation, and that includes as well proposal preparation. We support as well in partner search, so we do both. We help you to find your partners for your project, and we help you to offer your services, experience, and reach to other partners in case you're looking for a consortium to join. For that, we have a partner search tool in our website, and you can create your account and involve to either search for partners or find a project to join. Other services we provide, as in the case of transport, it is brokerage events that we organize in major commission events. One example could be the Sustainable Energy Week taking place later on this year. And we also provide information and training sessions for you. Those happen in the different countries. You can join any of them, and in particular those taking place in your own country. And lastly is, of course, how to keep updated about the opportunities for funding, the events, and as well as the policy development. You can do that through any of the means mentioned there, website, newsletter, and social media accounts. That's all from my part. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much to both Virginia and Christina. They are with us also if any questions are to come to them. Just to put it into perspective so you can also understand how the agenda was built today. So we have a call, we have published a call. We are going to manage that call. You have asked that you can ask us for help. But there is not a lot of help that we can offer. I mean, we can answer to questions, try to help you to understand the text of the call, but we don't do pre-proposal checks. We don't do pre-evaluation. We don't do anything because ultimately we are going to receive your applications, evaluate them, so we have a limit to which we can help. That's why if you are a member of Hydrogen Europe Research, you might get a certain help. If you address the entities of transport or energy in your own country, you can get another type of help. So this is just a bit to explain why all these presentations today. So we present the call, but we also wanted to raise your attention to our members from the private side that can help you as a member of the organization to find partners, to do consortia, to write proposals, or in your own country, you can get in touch with the national contact point supported by the European Commission in your own ministries in your country to help you. And there are different webinars, trainings that you have seen developed by both transport and energy national contact points for your help. So just keep in mind a bit of who are the actors in the room that can help you to have a very good successful proposal. Good. Normally, we have 4 minutes. But if we will see how the questions will go, we can take a few more if necessary to answer all the questions. I've been just quickly outside, the lunch is ready, and I think we can hold this still for a few more minutes before we go there. Any questions in the room? Yes, I know you were holding me for 3 hours, so yes. Mike is coming.
Thank you very much. I have 2 questions, if I'm allowed. Regarding consortium. You gave the example of Daimler, so I will use Daimler as an example. I hope nobody from Daimler is going to be mad. You mentioned that, for example, Daimler France plus Daimler Germany plus Daimler UK is not allowed. My first question is, for example, Daimler Automotive plus Daimler Electrical Systems plus Daimler Petrochemicals or something like that.
It's the same. So, it's very clear in the rule that the 3 different entities should be independent of each other. So, no link level between the 3.
They are distinct companies within the same group. No possible. Okay. And for example, let's imagine that Daimler France wanted the help from Daimler Germany or something. Can they do that and they have two extra partners?
No, they are considered one partner, and normally that happens even if you put them as separate partners, we will link them to each other, because it's obvious, and there will be like a partner and the other one is third party, affiliated to the main partner. That is what is explained by my colleague Georgiana. So they count as one.
Okay. If there is 3 distinct companies and another one, those 2, the external partner will be Daimler something and the coordinator will be Daimler something else. That will be possible.
Yes, so they count as one.
Okay.
Please read a bit more, and otherwise I don't want to keep everybody just on that issue. Yes? It's the right one. Yes.
Hello. 3 questions. One is possible. One is regarding subcontractors, this section 4.2 in part B. So, what is needed to be written there? Is it what is going to be subcontracted? Why is it going to be subcontracted? And also how? Meaning how you plan to select the subcontractors? Or that how is not part of what should be written there?
I answer that. I prefer to give them. Thank you. Sorry. The answer to that is the back of the subcontractor, and I think it will be mentioned black and white, and the amount of the subcontractor, because how else are we going to know if it's a limited part of the action or not, and we think about cost. So cost and what are they going to do, and that's it. There's for money and eligibility conditions. Up to you if you are going to respect that or not. I don't need it. It's already in the ground. It's black and white in the 100 agreement. Now, if you respect it, you're going to be reimbursed. If you don't respect it, you're not.
Okay. Second question is regarding international partners. Those countries who are not immediately or eligible for funding, not listed in the annex. So those ones, there was a sentence in the slides that confused me a little. Was this sentence reading administratively linked to the beneficiary of the project? Is that an option, or is just the way you consider the international partners? I mean, okay.
If you have, international partners is a new concept, sort of new because it's already been 2 years and we've already implemented in our last call. And you will see that in the model grant agreement it says an international partner must be linked to a beneficiary. And I put the word administratively because I thought it would be further clarification, but now I see it's not. In fact, administratively means only the purpose for the purpose of the grant. It doesn't need to be a legal link. It doesn't need to be a contract. It doesn't need to be a specific agreement. But for the grant, international partner will always be in the system. So we are speaking about Horizon 2020 system, grant management system. They will be linked together. And if one reports technically, meaning the international partner, they will report only via their beneficiaries with which they were linked, but for administrative purposes only. I think this is very complicated at this stage, and you don't need to know only maybe when you propose is successful, if you do have international partners, if you do plan to use this concept, and administration. Maybe it's too complicated. It's just considered that there needs to be a link with one of the partners.
To translate, you don't have to do it in the proposal. So even if you put them all, if you do it, it's even better, no? But nobody will exclude you or give you a lower score if you don't do it. So you can put them all as partners, and that we will solve during the grant agreement preparation with our help, with the proposal practice, okay? So I am trying to say, don't get scared. It's not something, put everybody who wants to do that, and then we will link them later. And see it
I just want to check if I am understanding it correct, because may I take an example? If you have the University of Bloodline Australia, right? So Australia is always giving you funding in an automatic way. So, but still, I can explain in my proposal how important and how essential it is the participation of this university from Australia for the project. And evaluators eventually can decide, yes, it's okay, they can receive funding. Are we talking about this case?
Yes, but also linked to beneficiaries in EU. You might have an opinion somewhere else.
But what if it is not a link to any beneficiary, just University of blah blah blah?
We'll do that, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. And the last question is the pages for the draft planning dissemination blah blah blah. It's 5 pages.
It's exploration of the data.
So you're right.
For me, it's
I just wanted to make it short because I know I'm taking so much time. So this limit of 5 pages, that I understand that the document is, to write this is compulsory, but the size, the number of pages is compulsory as well, or it's a maximum?
It's a maximum.
Like it can be 3. And I would be eligible. Yeah, but you would be eligible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And with that answer to, I think it's one of the questions, the third one on the list, which is related to the draft term for exploitation discrimination, is these an eligibility criteria or only for innovation action? It's not eligibility criteria, it's part of the proposal. So it's not going to go to the eligibility check, it goes into the admissibility. So if you don't have such a plan, the proposal is incomplete. So it's not even going to the eligibility step. It's not admissible. It's incomplete. Okay? So it's for everything. That's compulsory. Normally you should not be able to submit a proposal without that. I mean, the system will give you a warning that you are missing that document. So, yeah, I will say for everything. Any other question in the room? I'll go first to Angelo.
Perhaps I missed the point, but thank you. In the package of the whole, there is also the multi-annual working plan. And normally I use this as a kind of KPI, key performance indicator. But I think that nobody mentioned how to use the multi-annual working plan. Is it still useful or is it not up to date at the moment? We don't have to take into account.
You didn't miss the point, you didn't insist on it because it was another document to bring to your attention. Yes, it's very important. It is our strategic document. It was updated 3 years ago. with its addendum. You will find the mode and then the addendum with updated KPIs. Normally these KPIs from the mode should have been translated in every single topic in the impact section. So normally you should have already the targets from the mode in every topic in the impact section. If you still don't have, or if the topic refers to the mode, you go to the document. Yes, it's still there, still valuable in my opinion.
Thank you. Again, from Croatia, I will only comment all the population here for food. Something we would like to ask. We have two projects now. My question is, first one is the shift of our locomotive from diesel electric to hydrogen electric. The second one is we are going to do the first commercial public hydrogen organization. And whom can we expect some support for them?
We need to see that compared to our call. You see, I have very little information to tell you it totally fits into our call. But I will kindly ask you, I hope you are training the brokerage of the transport, and please, maybe you have more time to give more details to my colleagues, and they will tell you if you should go further compared to our call. Perfect. So, any other question in the room? We still have three on the wall.
We are making supersonic aircraft flying by hydrogen. So my question is how much information we can share to the communication in the media regarding the secrets system of the aircraft.
That's me. I would always, of course, answer to you, please share with the media everything you do. I mean, my interest would be to know everything. Yes, any other question in the room?
One question on the financial aspect for the topic on the hydrogen island. Maybe it is useful to have a clarification. So it was indicated that a co-financing or an external financing support should be made available in parallel to the funding of the SAGU to the topic. Maybe can you clarify a bit what is expected to be demonstrated? Will be a document by public administration or something else? And in line with this question, it is mentioned in the topic that the gap in between the cost of a commercial technology and the hydrogen-based technology will be funded, or a comment similar to this. Maybe can you give some clarification on which percentage of funding can be granted within the hydrogen island topic?
Okay. I just wanted to that. Anthony is coming to where it's from in case I need help. So, first part of the question. We, during the legal checking of our documents with the legal services of the European Commission, we would have liked to say what's the total cost of the project. To say it's 80 million or 100 million project. That is not possible because the legal services of trade will restrict some participation. So in terms of having open our call, we have just given an indication of the expected quantity of hydrogen to be produced and used on the island. It's the 300 tons, I think, per year. Yeah. That should give you already an indication that this is not a 10 million project. Yeah? So, we just said, assuming you have this quantity of hydrogen, you might do it depending on the technology with 90, with 80, with 100, with 120 million, we leave it up to the island and the commission. Assuming you have that, we can give you only 10. Yeah, we can support with the grant 10 million. Now, we have in the past, and that was also something that the European Commission asked, we had the experience that the expert, if you only come, present a project for 100 million, let's say it's 100, yeah? But you request from us 10, and you don't tell us from where you get the rest of the 90,
The expert might consider it too risky if you do not present any plan on how you get the rest of the 90, and that will not pass in the implementation section, I believe, or the criteria. So there, to help you, not because it's a requirement, but to help you to convince the expert that it's not too risky, we recommend it that you should come with a plan on how you will get the rest of the funding, co-financing, whatever. We don't know which island, what's the business plan of that island, from where the money will come, because we can only give 10 million. So, we recommend it to present that to the experts to give a bit of, how can I say, confidence that the project is not at risk, that we will not risk giving the 10, and once you spend the 10, say, I have no more money, that's the project. Okay? So that is more of a recommendation. How to present that, again, will leave it up to you. Will be different ways to present, to the letter of intent from the other funding or financing body that will say, yes, I'm going to support this project with another 30 million. Will be a letter of intent, will be a whole plan, will leave it up to you to present that to the experts, convince them that you are pretty confident you will get the rest of the money, so that the experts do not consider that 10% coming from us is very risky. Clear? Good. As regards the difference, again, I beg to answer under the supervision of my team. I believe if you will have 10 trains to use that, I just give as an example, I don't think we can fund the train. We will fund the delta, how we call it, between the conventional and the new innovative solution. So that's meant with that phrase. Okay, any other questions? No? I go quickly to the slide then because I think we're also running a bit late. What is the exact definition of established in regard to participating entities? Honestly, I don't know what that means.
It is the place of registration, the place of establishment or the place of registration of a company as a consortium.
Thank you. Is the list of evaluators selected in previous course available in the participant portal? Yes or no? We are obliged every year to publish the list of the evaluators. You will never find a link between our evaluators and our course. So they are published in the long list of all evaluators used by the European Commission. It's the same for the European Commission, and I believe you can agree with us, or those who are participating as evaluators to our process, that we should not make a link between who did what for us. Otherwise, I don't know, people might have different attitudes towards people who fail their proposals, so we don't want to expose our experts. So yes, you have a list. Our experts are published in a list of tens of thousands of experts used by the European Commission. Okay? You will never find those that we use. Then, what about the possibility to get in contact with potential consortium information? I already mentioned to you the 3 possibilities you have: Hydrogen Europe, Hydrogen Europe Research, or entities. We don't do that, and the only thing we offer is the partner search button on the course, on the funding and tendering portal. Otherwise, we don't help in doing that. Let's see if you to put inside the first extension in several countries listed in eligible countries. Yes? If you want to put an HRS in this country in Zimbabwe, in Afghanistan, assuming that brings added value to Europe, yes, it's not forbidden, but I would wish you good luck to convince the experts that this is the best use of EU public money. So yes, it's possible, but assuming, again, you convince the evaluators to that. With that, I just want to give the chance for any other questions because otherwise we stop here. No further questions. So now logistically, we move into the lunch. Lunch, you go from there out into the big hall. You have the lunch till 45 minutes, unfortunately. Then you will split into the different brokerage event/room. We don't get back into plenary, so there's no way that we come back here. After you finish with the brokerage, normally at 4, there is a networking break. So you just, after you finish the brokerage, go back into the hall for a networking break. I wish you success. We want to see good proposals. And do not wait for the last day to submit. Please start testing the system already. Good luck. Thank you.